Hello and welcome, dear students. Today we are evaluating a thief's story. As we are nearing examinations, we need to know what kind of answers we need to write and what kind of answers are not accepted by the CBSE. A restatement or re-narration of the story or short story is not accepted by the CBSE as a response. As per the answer key sample released by the CBSE, it is expected that the students are it is required that the students are using textual references to support their answers. So let us go directly into the citations of A Thief's Story by Ruskin Bond. This is from the textbook Footprints Without Feet, and it is short story, the second short story, and the writer is Ruskin Bond. Beginning from page 8, the very first line, the citation is still a thief, mentioning habitual action. And then coming to the attitude and the empathy of the character Anil, it is patted him on the head. The me, the first person me can be replaced, patted on the head. Never mind. These are certain citations for showing empathy and attitude of Anil. Pleasant working for Anil. This is a feeling for the writer experienced while working for Anil. And then the habitual thief, the actions cheating on shop on the shopping. Then it's page number 10, cheating on the shopping. And the fourth paragraph, it is, but it's difficult to rob a careless man. And note, it doesn't notice has been robbed and pleasure and takes all the pleasure out of the world. That shows habitual thief. Then the act of theft, which is the second last paragraph on page number 10, slid under the mattress, searching for the notes, drew them out without a sound. Moving on to page number 11, that is the sense of guilt. The first paragraph, last line, hesitated, some reason, can't explain, lost the chance to get away. The second paragraph, found myself standing alone can become found himself. Found can be separate citation, and then himself is your response, and standing alone is again a citation. Second last paragraph, short career as a thief. Second line over there is greedy man showed fear, rich showed anger, poor showed acceptance, and then loss of trust can be taken into consideration, and maybe sadness can be taken into consideration. And then page number 12, the third paragraph, I had forgotten. That's a particular paragraph. The citations are simple matter to steal, just as simple, be caught, big man, clever, respected man, something else, learn to read and write. This is the process of development of the sense of guilt towards a good human, a valued human being. Proceeding further, feeling very nervous, and that brings us to the end of the story. That means appealing way. Last of the last sentence in the story. Now let us begin with the evaluation of the worksheet. That's the student's response. Now let us see what kind of student's response we have seen. When it is a 1 mark citation, that means one reference to the context is given to you. You can write a direct answer without mentioning the name of the writer or the short story. But when it's a 2 mark question, you need to begin with the writer's name and mention the title to the short story. And when it's a 3 mark or 4 mark question, subjective question, you need to use your PEE technique. Proceeding now, beginning. The first reference to the context is you look a bit of a wrestler yourself. I said a little flattery helps in making friends. Who was the speaker? Who was he trying to flatter? Hari Singh was the speaker and he was trying to flatter Anil. Now, Ruskin Bond has mentioned the story in the first person. That means it is through the perspective of Hari Singh. Now, next is why did the speaker want to be friends with the listener? The speaker wanted to be friends with the listener because he wanted to rob him after gaining his trust. Remember, the word friends has got an S over here. Find the antonym. Antonym means the opposite of criticism in the extract. The antonym is flattery. Do not write just one word. A response. Kindly write the response in a sentence. What is the opposite of friends? The enemies is the opposite, or the opposite of enemy, opposite of friends is enemies. Either way is acceptable. Well, it's time I did some real work. I told myself I'm out of practice. This is something about the Hari Singh. That means he was talking about his habitual action of stealing. What real work is the speaker talking about? The real work is in the extract refers to stealing. Why does the speaker say I'm out of practice? The speaker says so because he is a thief and he is not robbed anyone recently. Out of real work and out of practice, definitely is the citation. Because the thief is not robbed anyone. Not robbed is a citation over here. Give a synonym for practice. Here, habit is a synonym of practice. What part of speech is the word real in the extract? It is an adjective. What part of speech? Real work. Work is noun, real is an adjective. Part of speech. What are parts of speech? Noun, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun, preposition, interjection. These are all parts of speech. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends. Why was the speaker standing alone on the platform? The speaker was standing alone on the platform because the train had just left and he stood still out of guilt. You can add that and then you bring in your citation. So this answer is slightly incomplete. Why did he not have any friends? The speaker did not have any friends because he thought that friends were more trouble than help. Which word in the extract is an antonym? Antonym is opposite of the word crowded. The word is deserted. Antonym, the crowded. Kindly check it out whether this is the right answer or not. The meaning of the crowded word crowded is means surrounded by a number of people. Antonyms means opposite. Opposite should be alone, lonely, or deserted. What does deserted mean? It means empty. It means no one around. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. Who is he in the extract? What did he know? He refers to Anil in the extract. Anil was a writer. He knew about the theft of his money or the act of theft. Why did he not show anything? Anil did not show any expression because he was understanding and Hari's return gave him and Hari's act of returning the money gave him the hope of a change in him or bringing about a change in his personality. You can rephrase it properly. Which word in the extract means the same as reveal? Showed means the same as reveal. What is the antonym of showed? Hide is the antonym of the opposite of showed. Why did Hari Singh approach? Now 30 to 40 means the words means about three sentences, three complex sentences, or as per the CBSE booklet, the broad booklet, about 4 lines. Why did Hari Singh approach Anil? Ruskin Bond in his short story, A Thief's Story, mentions the reason for Hari approaching Anil as self-interest or theft. Hari Singh was a thief who had not much luck in his work recently, so he approached Anil with the intention of robbing him, as he seemed to be an easy-going and simple man. According to Hari, winning simple confidence was an easy task. Why did Anil and Hari agree upon to be the mode of payment? Ruskin Bond, in his short story A Thief's Story, mentions the mode of payment of Anil and Hari's agreement. When Anil stated his inability to pay Hari, Anil questioned Hari if he could feed Hari. Hari realized that he had misjudged his target and molded the situation for his benefit. Anil then agreed to feed him if he knew how to cook. There are quite a few citations like agreed to cook and or feed Hari. Did Hari like working for Anil? Give reasons in your support of your answers. Yes, Hari, Ruskin Bond in his short story, Thief's Story, gives the reason for Hari working for Anil as his sheer interest of theft and robbery. Yes, Hari liked working for Anil. He was happy to carry on the chores for him and was grateful for the education he was receiving. He used to make profit of his by stealing from the shopping. That citation we have already pointed out, so you can bring in that. Rephrasing the sentence, a rupee a day was which was decent amount besides being fed. You can rephrase this sentence using your citation. State the events that took place on the night of the theft. Ruskin Bond, in his short story, Thief's Story, uh, depicts the act of robbery on depicts the act of robbery in a lucid manner or with vivid imagery. On the night of robbery, it was quite eventful for Hari Singh. You can say that it was an eventful act for Hari Singh. Uh, the act of robbery was quite eventful for Hari because this is the focus, the subject night of robbery or the act of robbery, the events. After stealing Anil's money and leaving, he listed the events that took place on the night of the robbery. First was the act of robbery. He walked slowly towards the bazaar as he did not know anyone who could provide him shelter except Anil, for he didn't have any friends. He was forced to take shelter under the clock tower. Later, when it started raining heavily, that is where he realized the importance of education and decided to go back to Anil. Now, this particular is a re-narration of the story. You can begin with an opening sentence as guided, and then if you are mentioning the story, you can bring in your transitional vocabulary of first, next, then, after which, finally, and then add on to this sentences. What made Hari Singh go back to Anil's house? Ruskin Bond, in his short story, A Thief's Story, brings a moment of self realization and transformation of a thief to a value loving person. Hari Singh realized the importance of education he was receiving from Anil. He knew that learning how to read and write and being a literate person would open doors to many opportunities. He was sure that he would then be able to earn more than a few hundred rupees he had in hand at that time. This made him go back to Anil. Now, this is again a realization. If you were to restate the story, then you should say that Luskin Bond, in his short story, A Thief's Story, projects the moment of realization of Hari Singh and the act of transformation and brings about the act of transformation in his personality. Initially, he reflected, Hari Singh reflected on the importance of education, and he also projected on the value of reading and writing and the respect of a literate man. The citations were already pointed out in the very beginning of the video. Kindly rewrite this particular answer. Uh, um, the Hari Singh also realized that being a literate man would earn him respect. As per the citation on the last page of your story, it is mentioned that it is as simple to be caught, but he would definitely learn to read, he would learn to write, and self respect But to be really big man, a clever and respected man was something else. He wanted to go back to Anil. He told himself, if only to learn to read and write. So that means that he was into a dialogue with self as per the reference. What made Hari Singh go back to Anil's house? Hari Singh's realization of importance of education was seen from Anil. He knew that learning how to read and write and being a literate person would open doors to many opportunities. He was sure that he would be able to earn more than a few hundred rupees. This made Anil go back. This answer needs to be rewritten as per the text that was read out just now. What are the different reactions of the people when they are robbed? As mentioned, that Ruskin Bond projects Ruskin Bond in his short story, A Thief's Story, projects the different expressions, reactions of people when robbed as greedy, as fearful when for a greedy person, anger for a rich person, acceptance for a poor person. However, a trusting man like Anil would be sad due to loss of trust. This is a citation that we was pointed out. As mentioned, you can reconstruct it using your citations. Now, the long question, which requires PEE technique. Ruskin Bond, in his short story, Thief's Story, projects the transformation of a man due to education. Money can't make a man as much as education can. Elucidate with statement. Elucidate means explain with certain citations and examples. Opening line has been mentioned. The statement stands true in almost all the aspects of life. So you can restate it that it is evident that the statement stands true in various aspects of life. Money can buy us all the luxuries and fulfill our needs, but it cannot buy us knowledge. Now, this us and me, these kind of pronouns should be avoided because it is not academic English when you use I, me, and us in your writing. Money can buy all the luxuries and fulfill the needs of any person, but it cannot buy knowledge and make them civilized thinkers. This is how you can rephrase the sentence. Civilized thinkers with skills, abilities to achieve their dreams, to achieve the dreams, but avoid using I, me, and our. Education lays a platform for all to act upon the goals according to their abilities. It is also evident that education enables people to keep them with the fast moving world. It is pointed out that it opens the door to opportunities which one does not know ever existed. Uh, Moreover, it can be stated that money can assist one to a certain level, but it is education that transform him to the next level. Just as mentioned in this, as for instance, it is cited in the story, the thief's story. Hari Singh prioritized the chance of being literate over a few hundred rupees, which one must understand that education can help achieve one's goals and meet one's desires and dreams. As I was reading, I was reconstructing it on the spot. If you have missed it out, kindly go back and listen to it, and you will be able to write down a better response using the PEE technique. Students are expected to use PEE technique, that is to point out, to cite in evidence, and to explain. P is for pointing out, E is for evidence, and E is for explain. The way I have used that, it is pointed out, it is evident. These kind of statements are required to bring your PEE technique more evident and more conspicuous. You may also use your citations with single quotes, and you may underline your single quotes as you are writing your answer. With this, we have come to an end of this particular video. Thank you for your kind attention.